Did you know whoever finishes 8th in the Premier League this season could qualify for European football next season? Now the answer is yes, I already knew that. Then this video is probably not for you. You're not going to learn anything new here today. However, the answer is no. Or what are you talking about, Gio? Probably something you ask at the start of every Hammers Chat video, admittedly. Then do stick around because I'm going to tell you how it works and why, if your team finishes 8th, could qualify for European football next season. You don't even have to be a Hammer to watch this video. You just need to be a fan of a team that could finish in 8th this season. So you could be an Aston Villa fan, a Brighton fan, you could be a Brentford fan, a Chelsea fan, a Man United fan. Stick around because we're going to discuss it. Now I was going to get Charlie, make it all fancy, do all the animations to help out. I think sometimes visually it sort of helps explain it a little bit, but he's busy this week. He's working on another video for the channel, so you're going to have to put up with me talking, and I'll do my best without being too patronising. This is sort of MTV Unplugged. This is like the acoustic version of your favourite song. Anyway, so traditionally, how it's worked is at the start of the season, England, the Premier League, have 4 Champions League spots and you can qualify for them by finishing 1st to 4th. Simple as that. We've got 2 Europa League spots. 5th place goes into Europa League and the winner of the FA Cup goes into the Europa League as well. Then of course we've got the Europa Conference League, as we know, and that is for the winner of the Carabao Cup. So as it stands right now, and traditionally, 1st to 5th in the Premier League qualify for European football, and the winners of the 2 domestic cups also qualify. Now, as we know, if the winner of the FA Cup or Carabao Cup finish in the top 5 of the Premier League, that spot then moves over to the Premier League. As we have seen at West Ham, we benefited from that. We finished 6th, qualified for Europa League thanks to the winners of the domestic cups. And then we finished 7th in the Premier League and qualified for the Conference League thanks to the winners of the domestic cup. So should the winners of the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup this season also finish in the top 5 of the Premier League, and then it will be allocated as follows, as we're used to. Top 4 is the Champions League, 5th and 6th go into Europa League, and 7th goes into the Europa Conference League. That's how it's worked traditionally. Now that has remained. Nothing's changed. That is staying exactly as it is. So what's different this season? Well, next season they're revamping European football and they're switching the format, because at the minute we've got group stages of 4 teams per group. They're switching it next season to one big league. They're going down the Swiss format and they're expanding it to 36 teams. As a result of the expansion of Champions League football, there's now 2 spaces allocated to the best performing countries. So the top 2 countries in the UEFA coefficients will be allocated a further Champions League spot, which is awarded domestically to the league campaign. Now, in 6 of the last 7 seasons, England have finished in the top 2 spots. So 6 of the last 7 times, England would have got an extra Champions League space. Right now, at the time of recording, which is the middle of October, England are comfortably top of the coefficient as well. Just below us, we've got Spain and Italy, and just below them is Germany. So should the English teams do well in the UEFA competitions this season, England will get an extra spot. It's incredibly likely that England will get a 5th Champions League space. So we might find ourselves rooting for another English team in European competitions later on, because it will actually benefit the Premier League and may give us that extra spot. So hopefully that makes sense so far. If you do have any questions, put them below. I will do my best to respond. But if you're enjoying this video so far, please do drop a like on it. If you're learning anything new, please do drop a like on it. It really helps out the channel, helps out this video. And please do subscribe if you're new to Hammers Chat as well. So I know what you're thinking. So what do we do with this extra Champions League spot? Well, you've probably already worked it out. If England finish top or second in the UEFA club coefficients this season, now we're not going to know till the end of the season, until every game has been played, the finals have been concluded, then we will discover which 2 countries are awarded those extra spots. So it's quite possible that whoever finishes 5th this season won't know if they've got Champions League football or not. This season will be finished, they will know they're finishing 5th, but they might have to wait to discover whether or not England get that extra spot. So if England do get the extra spot, it goes to 5th place in the league, and then the domino effect happens. The Europa League then drops down to 6, and then if the winners of the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup are in the top 6 of the Premier League, 7th and 8th, and then qualify for European football. I hope that makes sense. But to just summarise it, for the Premier League, 8th place in the league to qualify for the Europa Conference League next season, this is what has to happen. England need to finish in the top 2 spaces of the UEFA coefficients. They should do that. It depends on how the English clubs perform in European competitions this season. Now, it's a little trickier this season for the English clubs because there's 8 of us. There's usually only 7. But because we, West Ham, won the Conference League, we went into Europa League, that gave us 8 clubs. So that makes it a little bit trickier because it's done as averages depending on your performance. But fortunately for England, Osasuna, the La Liga side, got knocked out in the qualifiers by a Belgium team. So that really dented Spain's ranking for this season. So it gave England a bit of a head start, really. But all of our 8 clubs qualified for the group stage. So that was sort of what you have to do first of all in order to get up and running. So we should get it. So we need England to finish in the top 2 spots of the UEFA coefficient, but they should do that. As a result, the UEFA will say, there you go, England, there's your 5th Champions League spot. That goes to 5th in the Premier League. So 1 to 5 would then qualify for the Champions League. 6 would go into Europa League. That's how it would work. But like I said, if the winners of the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup finish in the top 6, then it goes to 7, goes into Europa League, and 8 goes into Europa Conference League. So as a West Ham fan, I'm going to be selfish now. For the rest of the season, I will be. I'll hope Man City go and win the Champions League, maybe even Newcastle or something. I hope the English clubs do well enough so that we can finish in the top 2. Because I've got used to European football at West Ham. I want European football next season as well. The Conference League, we've experienced it, we've won it, we know the feeling. I want to win it again so we can finish 8th and get into it. Happy days, bring it on. So I'm going to be selfish. So when it comes to the Carabao Cup and FA Cup now, admittedly, I would love West Ham to win it. But should West Ham not win either of those, I hope whoever does win it finishes in the top 6 of the Premier League. Last season, while we were down the bottom, I was hoping that they wouldn't win it. The teams at the top wouldn't win it. I don't know who I was rooting for. I know Brentford. I wouldn't mind seeing them win a cup or something like that. If we can't win it, I'd rather someone like that win it. But this season, for selfish reasons, I hope that the winners of those cups, should it not be West Ham, finish up there so that we can get 8th in the Premier League to have that Europa Conference League spot. I feel confident. I mean, it usually happens, doesn't it? The winners of those domestic cups usually do well in the league as well. Like I said, we benefited twice from it already. So, 8th in the Premier League could equal European football. That's how it works. Like I said, any questions, put it below. Now, there is other means of qualifying and things that not make it complicated, but essentially I know what you're thinking. Hang on a minute. What if we win the Europa League? How does that work? The winners of the Europa League get Champions League, and it's got nothing to do with England's allocation. So if West Ham were to finish 12th, the reason I'm using 12th, I'm exaggerating, we're away from qualifying for European football via the league table, right? We finish 12th, but we win the Europa League. We would still qualify for the Champions League. And because of our performance, England probably get that extra Champions League spot. But that 5 would still get Champions League. So England would then have 6 teams. Now, UEFA hadn't actually decided what the maximum teams are. Before this season, it was 5. 5 teams. Maximum of 5 teams per country could play Champions League football. And the reason they brought in, because of Liverpool, we know that. Liverpool won the Champions League that year, but finished outside the top 4, but they had a right to defend the trophy. So it was sort of, now what do we do kind of thing. And so because of that, they brought in this 5 club rule. But they've had to get rid of that because of this extra 2 spots. So I don't know what it is yet. I don't think they've announced it yet. But should we qualify for the Europa League, we will still qualify for the Champions League, and England should still get 5 spaces. So then there'd be 6 English teams in it. Of course, in the incredibly unlikely event, England could actually have 7 teams qualify should Newcastle finish 11th. So we finish 12th, Newcastle finish 11th. But Newcastle go on and win the Champions League. They qualify for the Champions League as well. Top 5 qualify, we qualify. So in the end, the Premier League could actually have 7 teams playing Champions League football next. It's incredible. 1% chance of happening. But I know some of you will be thinking, hang on a minute, what does that mean? Do we rob? We don't. It's the prizes the prize for winning Europa League is separate to how it gets handed out to qualification via the league, which is again separate to these new 2 awards for the best performing countries. Usually going forward, it'll usually be Italy, or England, France, Germany. It'll be the big club. The big countries will do well in UEFA coefficients because of the performances of the clubs in these competitions. So they'll likely get the extra Champions League spots. Like I said, 6 of the last 7 seasons, the Premier League would have got an extra spot. So there you go. There's your statistic. Now, going forward, top 5 could be Champions League football in the Premier League. I'm not saying I agree with it, by the way. I mean, it's a bit much, isn't it? 8th qualifying for the Premier League, finishing 8th in the Premier League could get you European football. It's a bit too many clubs qualify. It's nearly half the league qualifying for European football. It's a bit much. But, do you know something? I'm glad. Why? Because barring something major changing at West Ham. Now, this is where if you're a Villa fan and stuff, you're probably not going to want to listen to this bit, but before you go, like the video and all that. But barring any major changes at West Ham via ownership or whatever, the chances of us qualifying for the Champions League football slim. It is. We've not done it. It's incredibly slim. So our best route into Champions League football is winning the Europa League. It's probably easier for West Ham to win the Europa League than it is to finish in top 4 of the Premier League. I stand by that. Last season, at the very start of the season, I said our best chance of getting European football this season is to win the Conference League, not finish in the top 5 or 6 in the Premier League, is to win the Conference League. It's easier to do that. And I think it's easier for us to probably get Champions League football via the Europa League this season than it is to finish in the top 4 or 5 in the Premier League. But because of, it's not a closed shot per se, because you don't know who's going to get it. But there's 5 or 6 teams that could get Champions League football. Traditionally, we're not one of them. But to get European football, well, again, traditionally, it's been difficult for clubs like West Ham, Aston Villa, in the Premier League era, of course. I know about the history of Villa before someone points out. In the Premier League era, it's been difficult for us to break in there and stay in there. So if 8 teams qualify, well, that's increasing the chances. That might mean that European football becomes a semi-regular thing at these football clubs. And if I was not a fan of West Ham, I might be saying, there's too many teams. This isn't good. It's not good for the competition. It's not healthy for the Premier League when half the teams are now playing on a Sunday. Because, well, they won't, but you know what I mean? We've got 3 teams playing Thursday night football, etc. There's too many fixtures on Sundays already. So the consequences are big. But I don't not support West Ham. Double negative, so it's a positive. I do not support West Ham. I do. So for selfish reasons, I'm glad 8th is European football. Do you know why? Because I love it. I love European football. I thoroughly enjoyed last season. I enjoyed the season before. I'm enjoying this season. I've got used to it. I've got used to watching this on Thursday night. I'm looking forward to next Thursday when we play Olympiacos. Bring it on. I can't wait. I get excited about the potential of winning the Europa League. I was excited for the Conference League last season. We won it. I loved it. I want it again. If we don't win the Europa League this season, but we finish 8th and qualify for the Conference League next season, I'll be buzzing. Bring it on. Let's go win it again. Let's be the first team to win that trophy twice. Let's go down in history and qualify for the Europa League. Again, let's have 5 seasons in a row. But to qualify for 4 seasons in a row for European football, granted one of them's not via the league position, I don't really care. 4 seasons in a row would be fantastic for us. Absolutely fantastic. So there you go. And this is why I keep saying the question is kind of, can West Ham qualify for European football? Well, let's change that and let's go with what usually happens statistically. 6 out of the last 7 seasons this has happened. I don't know how many seasons it's happened in terms of the league, i.e. 7th qualify. I don't know, I haven't checked. Probably should have done. But it's most seasons, isn't it? Fair to say, it's most seasons that the Carabao Cup and FA Cup winner finish in top 5, 6. So there's a good chance, a very, very good chance that 8th will get European football. So with that in mind, the question isn't can West Ham qualify for European football? The question is, can we finish 8th? At this point, I don't think you can say no. You'd have to say absolutely West Ham can finish in the top 8 of the Premier League this season. And if we do finish 8th, well, I'm going to be keeping my fingers crossed that the English teams do alright in European football. I don't want them to win it. They could all get out the group stage and get knocked out. That'd be nice. But I'll be praying that England qualify for that extra Champions League spot, and I'll be rooting for the top clubs in the Carabao Cup and FA Cup. Why? Because I'm selfish. I want 8th to be European football so we can get in again. Bring it on. Anyway, hopefully that explains it. If you do have any questions, please put it in the comments. I'll do my best to respond. If I don't know the answer, I'll go find out because I want to know. But that's how the qualification works. So you might have to watch it twice. Apologies for the no animations. Like I said, we're going to do it like we do in the past. But Charlie's just busy working on a video which will hopefully be up tomorrow night. But if you enjoyed this video, please do drop a like on it. Subscribe to Hammers Chat. Well, I might catch up with you tomorrow, but if Charlie's done that video, I won't. I'll see you on Thursday.